Okay.
My name is Wendy. I'm one of the keepers here in the Africa department, and we are joining you live today from US Bank Painted Dog Valley here at the Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Garden, and we're here to celebrate Painted Dog Day. So we have some special enrichments set up. We've got a paper mache zebra for our painted dogs to enjoy, and we've also set up a scattered beet on their habitat. So in just a minute, they're going to come racing out here and enjoy all that good stuff, and I'm going to teach you a little bit about painted dogs. Jenna, we are ready when you are. Here they come. So here at the Cincinnati Zoo, we have a pack of 8 African painted dogs. We have 5 males and 3 females. One of the females out there is Mama Dog. Her name is Akili, and the other 7 are her offspring from a litter that she had a few years back. African painted dogs are one of the most endangered carnivores in Africa, but they're not one of the better known species. In fact, a lot of times when people walk up to this habitat, one of the first things they say is, "Oh, look, hyenas!" And if you learn nothing else today, we want you guys to learn that these are not hyenas, these are African painted dogs. Hyenas are a completely different family of animals altogether. African painted dogs go by several different names. They can also be known as African wild dogs or African Cape hunting dogs. We kind of prefer the painted dog term because it kind of highlights that beautiful marbled coat that they have. As they're checking out that zebra, you guys will notice how inquisitive they are and how they do work together as a pack. They are one of the most successful hunters in the natural world. They are successful about 80% of the time that they go out on a hunt, which is absolutely incredible. And I always tell people, if you think of it in terms of batting averages, if there were a baseball player batting 800, the whole country would be talking about them.
When did the zebra come out?
One of the reasons that they are one of the most successful hunters out there is because they do work as a pack to hunt, and their style of hunting is pretty unique and interesting too. It's called cursorial hunting, and that's kind of a big fancy term that means that what they do is they'll chase their prey to exhaustion. So these guys have incredible endurance. They'll be able to isolate an antelope or a gazelle and just chase and chase and chase that animal until it physically can't run anymore. And at that point, the pack will move in and make the kill and eat. So they have incredible endurance, lots and lots of energy, and they work cooperatively together as they're demonstrating, taking down their paper mache zebra right now. I'm going to be quiet for a few minutes so you guys can listen and focus on the vocalizations that they make too, because that's also pretty unique to this species. So you're going to notice that their vocalizations might sound very different from your dogs at home. There's not a lot of barking. Instead, they do lots of this high-pitched yipping, chirping, kind of squealing noises. Scientists think that maybe one of the reasons for that is that if they were to simulate the sound that birds make, maybe it won't notify other large carnivores, other large predators in the area that they're around. So it's maybe to help them fly under the radar and go undetected. In Africa, these guys are mortal enemies with lions and hyenas. Lions have been known to kill them on the spot, and lions don't even necessarily eat them when they kill them, but because they compete for the same role in the environment, lions figure the fewer painted dogs are around, the better for us. Hyenas practice kleptoparasitism, which means that they'll steal food from the painted dogs. The painted dogs will put all this hard work and effort in to make a kill, and the hyenas, because they also roam around in packs and are bigger and more powerful, will chase the painted dogs off of their kill and steal it from them. Fortunately, painted dogs are so successful at hunting, most of the time they're able to go out and make another kill. Now, right now, estimates are that there are fewer than 7,000 painted dogs in the wild. That is an incredibly low number. They are endangered for a number of reasons, and most of them you'll be familiar with and involve conflict with humans. Habitat fragmentation is a big one too. And these guys are also very susceptible to all the same illnesses and diseases that even our dogs at home can catch. So rabies, parvo, distemper are all very problematic for this species of animal, especially because they do live in these big social packs. So if one dog gets sick, that disease will spread very quickly and can wipe out the entire pack. Some of the conservation efforts that exist to try and help these guys in the wild include vaccinating them against parvo, distemper, rabies wherever possible.
So Wendy, why is it important for us to, give them this kind of enrichment?
This kind of enrichment is fantastic because in USDA, AZA accredited zoos, we are not allowed to give them live prey items. So this is one of the closest things that we can do to simulate giving them the opportunity to kind of hunt and kill and work cooperatively together as a pack. All of that stuff is great for just strengthening the social bonds that exist in them, and it's also very important for mental stimulation and physical stimulation as well, as you can see. We also do quite a bit of scatter feeding, so we will take their diet and spread it out throughout the habitat so that they kind of have to forage and wander around and try to find little bits of meat at a time, again to help them work out some of that energy, stay busy. And then we also do quite a bit of training with them as well behind the scenes. All of the training that we do with them focuses on having them work cooperatively with us to take better care of them. So they're trained for voluntary injections if we need to give them vaccines. They're trained for voluntary blood draws if we need to collect blood. Also just overall checks. We're working on getting them to open their mouths so we can check their teeth. We have them line up and wait patiently and take turns to accept food so that if we need to medicate specific dogs, it's a little easier for us to do that. And we're able to do those things without separating individuals away from the pack, which can be very stressful for them. When you live in a pack in a unit that's as socially complex as these dogs, if you're gone even for a few minutes from the pack, that can be very stressful for the entire pack and difficult for them. So we avoid separating them unless we absolutely have to. Each dog has a completely unique coat pattern. So this dog right up front here working on our zebra carcass is named Coda. And he's easily identified by, he has quite a bit of color in his tail, whereas a lot of the other dogs you'll notice will have that yellow color, a black ring, and then a white tail on the end. So Coda over there has a little bit of color in his tail. That's one easy way to identify him. And his brother Mopani, who's also hanging out up front, also has a colorful tail, but it's different. Duke, that dog that we can see right there, I always identify him by, it looks like he has deodorant stains under his arm. He has kind of white under his armpits. That's one of the easiest ways for me to pick him out of the crowd. Man, they made quick work of that zebra. Well, let's see. I guess if there are any questions out there, we might have a minute or two where we could answer a few questions if you guys have any.
Yeah, a lot of people are commenting they thought the zebra was real at first.
Oh!
Make sure that it's paper mache.
Yes. Well, on that note, props to our volunteer enrichment committee. So we actually have a team of volunteers that come to the zoo and focus all of their efforts on creating really amazing dynamic enrichment for our animals to interact with. And this paper mache zebra was one of their works of art. So this was a paper mache zebra. No animals were harmed in the filming of this Facebook Live. As you can see, it's just made out of newspaper, flour, and then some tempera non-toxic paint. But it's incredibly enriching, a really cool experience for our dogs, something fun to tear up and destroy and get to work on together. So yeah, nothing to worry about. No real zebras out here.
Bethany was wondering if there were any snacks inside of the paper mache zebra, or if how they get fed throughout the day.
Gotcha. So today there were not snacks inside of the zebra, but we do that. Sometimes we will kind of create like a piñata effect where we'll put food inside of the paper mache items for them. Instead, today what we did was we took their morning diet and we spread it out all around the habitat. So if you were with us when we first opened up live, you saw the dogs kind of tearing off all around the habitat and checking out different spots on the rock work and on the ground. They were finding all of those little meatballs that we hid around the habitat for them. We do offer them carcass feeds occasionally, and carcass feeds are amazing, and again, the most natural way that we could feed them. If a carcass feed is ever happening at the zoo, there will be plenty of signage leading up to the habitat so that you know what you're walking into, and if that is something that you don't necessarily want to view, you'll have an opportunity to recognize what you're heading for, and you can kind of divert and head somewhere else. But usually the carcass feeds are prepared in such a way that it's pretty good, easy viewing for everybody of all ages. Usually the innards are removed and the head is also removed, so there's not a face looking back at us, but it will be like a goat carcass, for example. And our dogs absolutely love having carcass feeds. The reason that we don't do those too frequently is because when we do give them a large carcass, it will be very heavy, lots and lots of meat on there, and those dogs will obviously eat as much as they want, and different individuals within the pack will eat different amounts, so it can be hard to control weight gains and things like that. And one of the best ways that we are able to have these dogs work cooperatively with us is by utilizing their hunger, essentially. When they're hungry and food motivated, they'll shift off of exhibit for us so that we can clean the habitat. They'll work with us so that we can medicate them and things like that. So if we were to carcass feed them all day, every day, they may not be hungry and cooperative in the way that we need them to. So carcass feeding is an awesome sometimes thing that we get to do, but it's not an everyday thing.
And the last question is, Caitlin was wondering how old they are.
How old are our dogs? I believe Akili mama dog is 7 years old. And I think her pups are 3 years old. Yeah, that sounds right. All right. Well, I think that's gonna probably wrap it up for us here at US Bank Painted Dog Valley at the Cincinnati Zoo Botanical Garden. Thank you all so much for joining us for World Painted Dog Day. We hope you all enjoy the rest of your day.